Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I've decided I'm going to do a little something, going to try out something. I have a series of games in my Steam library that I have yet to play. And so I've decided I'm going to do just that. I'm going to record 100 minutes, and the final footage is probably not going to be 100 minutes long. I'm going to edit as little as possible. I already went through the options. Easy for players who are bad at action games. Yeah, that is me. My story began in February, year 2000.
For my part in this allegory, I'm not going to make the same mistakes my father made. Howard vanished from my mother's life before I was even in it, so when he sent me a letter a few days after Mum's funeral, it was the first I'd ever heard from him. Pity he was dead. Writing from beyond the grave must be a genetic habit in my bloodline. His letter contained a key, instructions, pleas for forgiveness. I figured the dead don't have much use for absolution, so I turned to his prophetic passing, which he inexplicably expected to come any day. Clearly averse to explanations, my father preferred to leave directions to a bank on Mayfair I'd never even heard of. In that bank was a safety deposit box in his name, and myself as executor. Of course, I went, as he knew I would. I discovered that despite the evidence, he'd been legally declared dead almost 30 years ago, and so the old book and collection of notes I found had, in the eyes of the law, been mine all this time. My father's instructions were to burn the documents, raise no further questions. But that was his error. No man's immune to the shameful trappings of curiosity, and my humanity got the better of me. The university I taught at was world-renowned for two things: physics and linguistics. I represented the first, and the man who stood for the second was stumped by my recent acquisition. The book was indecipherable. The notes, however, showed a location somewhere in uninhabited northern Greenland. It took me almost a year to book the last flight I'd ever take. As I watched civilization disappear along with Heathrow, I realised my father had disappeared 3 decades ago, almost to the day, and I considered in turn what it was that I was leaving behind. We landed on a strip of ice a few feet wide, and within minutes I was pulling away on a chartered boat, beginning the 12-hour journey that would lead me into my past.
Finally, we're almost docked. I better stow my gear. I may be far from home, but chances are I can still pick things up using left mouse, and I can take a closer look at things using right mouse. Alright. I'm certain this map's a good decade or so out of date, but landmarks don't change much in Greenland, so I've got a decent idea of where I'm heading. Can I pick it up? I cannot. Always good to have a notebook to jot down interesting information and reminders. Okay. Oh, something about a torch. To do, notes, understood. Empty. The mouse sensitivity is a bit weird, but I'll tolerate it. Let's shuffle with a padlock and a key, preferably mine's in inventory. Tab. My old padlock. Flashlight could come in handy. I run out of batteries, press G. Take the batteries for the flashlight. Anything else to pick up? No. Hey, I recognize that chest texture. Stayed completely unchanged. Dearest Eric, just a quick note before you set sail and leave me once again. I left you a little something to remember me by in the chest at the foot of your bed. I really don't know why you still only have one bed on board. Taking shifts because of it is no way to get your rest. But what does a fisherman's wife know of life at sea? I'll be praying every night for you to make the catch you need so that you come home to me safely and soon. Please don't be gone for 5 weeks like last time. I know I might nag sometimes, but I do love you, you know? I've washed those overalls of yours. I know you'll get them covered in assorted fish parts in no time, but I still feel better knowing that I've had a wash. Before I forget, the Henriksons in the village have asked me to see you, to see if you'll be coming by any trout, and I said they were mostly out of season. But if you do happen upon any, don't say anything. Stow them well in the ice, and I'll do something special with them to celebrate when you come home to me. The ship's captain deserves a little special treatment once in a while. Take care, my love. Alright, anything else around here? No. It leads on to the deck, but I don't hesitate bringing the weather until I have to. Okay, so am I supposed to do something else? G for the flashlight. That is a flashlight, light. Yeah, that is a flashlight. Oh, fun fact. As I was... Oh, here's the flashlight. As I was recording... Alright, now I'm focused on what I'm doing. Let me change the... Yeah, this feels way too slow. And maybe 1.6. I'm gonna try a 1.8. Yeah, this is okay. As I stepped off the boat, sailing out into the blizzard that formed around me, I realized how utterly devoted I'd been to the discovery of my father's past. I had no idea what to expect. Soon enough, my concerns were justified. I don't know whether I lost my orientation or my spirit first, but I lost feeling in my extremities soon after, and knew hypothermia was setting in. I started looking for shelter. So, fun fact, as I was trying to record this, the power went out. In not just my apartment, not just the city block, but in several city blocks all around me. The entirety of the town was basically dark all around me, except for the Christmas decorative lights. The mouse is still a bit weird. Okay, I need shelter. If it looks so in chart, I need something to break in. Do I have something to break in? I do not. So perhaps I need a rock. There are some rocks over here. Are they over here? Didn't I see rocks over here? Am I tripping? Didn't I see rocks? There they are. Get one of these. So, for as familiar as I am with Amnesia, I've never actually played Penumbra a lot. And since I have typical problems I also have with Amnesia. There we go. Turning things is my weakness in games, by fictional games. As I was saying, since I have Penumbra on my backlog, I might as well play it for a little bit. I'm not sure how far I'm going to progress in this recording session, but it's absolutely fine. After the recording session, I will most probably play the game to finish. Jesus, my head. I can't believe I fell that far and survived. Although looking around, something, I didn't get to read everything. If you look in the house, there could be anything inside. Alright, what is this? Empty boxes of ammunition, what is this place? Oh. Steel rod. A flare. Hope it's open. This one is open. .24 ration pack, long past its state. Let's see, I can swing this hammer if I hold left mouse. I can make back swing pulling the right mouse. And follow through by pushing left. The opposite works too. Pulling back and then pushing forwards produces a stabbing. Okay. Over 50 years since anyone has been down there. So how do I use... Okay, apparently that's how I use... Yep. Apparently that's how I use it. Very different from what I used to. Come on. Looks pretty soft now. The problem is... Surely I need to turn that thing out. Surely I need to push this wardrobe away somehow. Anyway. It's stuck. There must be something in the way. There we go. I just had to get rid of the hammer. It's not as intuitive as Amnesia, I'll give you that. Unless there is a button input that I completely missed on. Hello. What is this? There's a hole in the center and no way to operate it. Excuse me. Alright, this is where I was starting. Can I get in here? Apparently not. I just got a notification on my phone. Huh? Am I tripping? That's what it is. Okay. Whatever I was descending into, it was 100 feet below ground, protected by two solid metal hatches, located in a remote Antarctic wilderness, and buried beneath the snow. I didn't know what to expect, but it made me feel something I hadn't felt since I was a child. Excuse me. I'd never given it much thought before, but I realized that our entire society is a network of safety nets, emergency services at the end of a phone line, health and safety in the workplace, friends, family, lovers, all there if something goes wrong. Part of a carefully designed structure to prevent all but the most mundane of emotions. Once again, I felt like I did when I was at school, surrounded by a closing ring of older kids, knowing anyone that might help me, friends, parents, teachers, were too scared or too far away. So what you're saying is, I jotted a note down. Notes. Okay, this is the fisherman's ladder, so to-do list. There could be anything living down here. Heroics are for Hollywood actors and fairy tales. I'm not taking any chances. If I face off against anything down here, I won't last a second. Caution and stealth are my only defenses now. If anyone or anything hears me, it's best off staying low and out of sight until I know whether or not it is a threat. Crouch by pressing left control will give me the chance to hide in the shadows. I'll know I've got it right because of a blue tint in my vision. Plus, I should be quiet enough that I won't be heard unless something's right on top of me. Better remember to shut any light sources though. Okay, I have to shut off the lights. Anyway, I was reading the notes. The entrance to the cave has caved in. There must be another way out. My best bet is to hide for a couple of seconds or so, perfectly still. Like that, I'll be virtually invisible. After some time, I should get my night vision back and probably stay still. Okay, blue tint in my vision. Understood. The wooden box. So this is where I am. Storage, office to the left, a door that leads to the workshop to explosives into the northern area. I will start with storage. I need to stay quiet. Okay. Separate section of the map. Amy Cran, just old paint cans, shrine long ago. What is you? An empty lighter. Lighter plus fuel. Locked. The controls definitely feel much more rigid. I don't know if this was such a good idea. Yeah, perhaps not. Painkillers, batteries, anything else that I can collect from here. If I remove the rocks off of this box, will I be able to move it? There we go. That's what I thought. Where does this lead to? Someone's removed the ladder. This part is still locked. This leads back out. Some wrist springs on the other side. Okay, now I need to stay stealthy. Something else down here. There it is. I may not read the subtitles every time, because I will have to focus. Anyway, now I need to head to the other side. The puppy is going to be over there, not being a pain. The puppy is probably going to circle here. Puppy. I'm still not completely satisfied with the mouse sensitivity. Huh, some light. The controllers are definitely not as fluid as they were with Made in Germany, 1923, as they were with Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Controls for Amnesia: The Dark Descent are definitely much more fluid. Definitely don't feel this heavy. Locked. Needs a key. A flare. Running wind shelves. The whole room is putrefying. I was about to say petrifying. It's not petrifying, it's putrefying. More batteries. I am playing in easy mode, I remind you, just for the sake of the story. Copenhagen Post, Monday 17th of August 1930. Psychotropic deposits at the bottom of Death Mine. Researchers at the University of Copenhagen have suggested that mind-altering chemicals naturally sewn into the rock may be the cause of high suicide rates at a Greenland mine. The university, which has recently been conducting studies into isolated communities, first became interested in the workers of Northwestern Lead Mine last year. Lead Mine. Lead? Lead? Probably lead. They discovered that even taking into account Greenland's naturally higher suicide rate, that's a thing, local figures for the last 100 years were abnormally high at 46 deaths per 100,000 populace, compared to the national average of 29. On further investigation, experts diagnosed in many of the miners symptoms in common with the earlier stages of paranoid schizophrenia. This has prompted researchers to hypothesize that natural deposits of lysergic, here come the difficult names, lysergic acid, a pH4 formula recently discovered to have hallucinogenic properties, may be present in the rocks. Few locals were conducive to interview, but those who agreed to speak had their own explanation. Inuit spirits, known as the Turngeite, live in the mountains. The university is waiting the results of chemical testing. Studies continue. 15th of August, 1945. Command Bunker, Emergency Airstrip Zulu. Weekly Report. Another unremarkable week in Greenland. Regular supply shipment received, standard emergency drills carried out, routine runaway maintenance completed. I have ordered maintenance to be carried out twice weekly from here on in due to increased snowfall. 1 wounded. The 1 wounded figure is no cause for concern back in London. The Germans haven't extended their front line by 4,000 miles. 2 of my men were caught manufacturing cherry bombs in our workshop armory and succeeded in blowing off a couple of fingers. I take partial responsibility for this, in that I allow them access to the demolitions manual we keep in the storeroom, and I'm sure that's where they learned the ingredients. As a precautionary measure, I have now locked up that manual in the chest in my office and will keep the key on my person at all times. Needless to say, both men have been disciplined, and the injured man has been sent home for medical care. I cannot help but to think that a more suitable punishment would have been for him to stay out here, but the matter is out of my hands. This space is so disconnected sometimes. Sometimes I feel as if this war could end, and we might not even hear about it here. Supplies requisition order. Dynamite for excavation purposes. 7 bayonets, not necessary in my opinion, but procedure states we should have a full complement. 1 industrial ice pick for removing the damned ice that forms on the external hatch. 1 pair of reading glasses category 7C. An order for myself, my glasses are in a rather poor state of repair and can do with replacing. Reconditioning of the mine continues to progress. The structure is being fortified from potential bomb damage, and excavation of previously caved-in areas is going ahead. 1 point of curiosity is some kind of archaeological find, an artifact buried beneath the earth and discovered by one of the work teams. Later this evening, after martial duty, I shall take a closer look at the artifact. It appears to be man-made and may have working parts inside. I shall remove what looks like the front cover and see if I can't discover the source of the light which constantly emanates from it. Chief NCO M. Major. So these? A man, an old man, clutching something sudden. He is strange and yet he is no stranger. Never seen before, still I know this man before me is Howard. I call him Father. It was different, but the same that time. Like, I had more control. Over what? Okay. So I do have a key. Is this the key? Small key for a locker or container. Right here. Being a Book of Explosives, 1923 edition. Let me adjust my seat. Chapter 1.3, Black Match Fuse. The black match fuse is one of the oldest, simplest, and most reliable fuses used in modern pyrotechnics. It is easier to create, essentially consisting of just string and gunpowder. But be warned, the chemicals concerned will stain clothing, and as always, due concern is advised. Materials required: string, preferably cotton, black gunpowder, backstrin. The string should be coated with a thin layer of backstrin, which acts as an adhesive. The string is then carefully rolled into the gunpowder and left to dry at least a couple of minutes before use. Chapter 2.1, Dynamite. Invented by Alfred Nobel in 1866, dynamite is commonly used in construction, mining, and demolition. It has proven far safer to handle than alternatives such as pure nitroglycerin, provided that has been properly stored. Over time, the explosive component of dynamite, supposedly made safe by the presence of diatomaceous earth, has a tendency to weep, making an old box of explosives liable to detonate on contact. Materials required: 1 part diatomaceous earth. I should probably look up how that is pronounced. 3 parts nitroglycerin, small amount of sodium carbonate. Text unreadable, then simplify form into short sticks and wrap in paper. Chapter 2.3, Trinitrotoluene. TNT. Yes, I definitely read that right. TNT was first discovered in 1863 by German chemist Joseph Wilbrand, but it took some years before it yielded its true potential. This was because of the difficulty of making it explode and lesser detonation in comparison to dynamite. The main advantage was discovered by the German Navy, who employed TNT's relative explosive stability in order to cause massive damage to British warships. Their torpedoes could be detonated inside a ship's armor, rather than exploding on contact, as did other shells. Chapter 2.6, Armstrong's Mixture. Armstrong's Mixture is included in this book as more of a point of interest than as a viable chemical mix. The formula exists as somewhat of a legend more than of a legend in modern pyrotechnics, referenced by those knowledgeable enough to stay away from it as death mix. Its incredible volatility make it unsuitable for almost all potential applications. Materials required: red phosphorus, barium. This mixture can be carefully and slowly mixed to minimize risk to the chemist. Sulfur can substitute for some or all of the barium to slightly decrease sensitivity. So I now know how to craft explosives. I assume that I shall be notified when the puppy is close to showing up. The entrance to the cave has caved in. There must be another way out. There's a locked door without noises coming from it behind the storage. I found the locked door in the middle of the mine. I heard that. Beef jerky, not without aroma. Alright, I assume that I have to come back here. What is this? This shows some kind of trapdoor, but I can't see where it could be. So I assume that I cannot just simply go down there. Or can I? There's no ladder. What sort of creature can make these markings? I don't know. Let's figure it out. Oh, spiders. Oh, hello. A horrible sight. Luckily it's modified, or else the smell would have been awful. Hello. Try dusty old bags. Day 1. I begin this record still in the hope that the great work we have undertaken here might one day be of scientific value, despite the chaos which has ensued in the 6 hours previous. My aim is to remain secure until what help there may be arrives, and to that end I have barricaded myself into a small workshop area in the abandoned part of the mine. I hope that the meager food rations here will keep me alive, and that those I hide from will not jeopardize that. Despite perhaps this mine really is cursed. It's almost precisely 30 years since the incident that brought us here, and now, 30 years on, fate has struck again. Day 3. I forecasted that today the rescue crews would arrive, but I can only hypothesize that they would be unaware of my location, and hence busy themselves evacuating the other survivors. If they have not arrived by tomorrow, I will go out in search of them. Day 6. My first mistake was to make assumptions on the manner of rescue. My second mistake was to make assumptions on the safety of this mine. My third mistake was to act on both of those assumptions in going outside of my safe haven. My best estimate is that I left the workshop where I was secured about 2 days ago in search of aid, and I have found only danger. I approached the old living quarters, but curiously, could find no sign of life whatsoever. I returned in what I thought was the direction from which I had come, but soon find myself in an unfamiliar locale. Confused, but focused, I attempted to make my way home, but found myself threatened by some species of feral creature, which seems to have made this old mine its home. Although the specimen bore significant interest to me, I chose to retreat, only to find myself outmaneuvered and outnumbered by the beasts. I turned and ran, injuring my ankle in the process, which I believe now is most likely a sprain rather than a fracture. For some time I cowered and fled into the dark, but a few hours ago I discovered a door leading to a smaller, disused part of the mine, the key for which I still have in my pocket. Within that area I discovered this storeroom, and I think it should keep me safe for some time. This place is a maze. My lesson learned. I will not venture out again until I'm certain the area is safe. Day 19. Rescue seems increasingly unrealistic. Supplies diminishing. Lots of spiders in this place. I do not like spiders. Day 34. I caught one of the accursed 8-legged beasts nestling in my open mouth when I woke up this morning. In my surprise, I swallowed it. It's not so much the act of swallowing which concerns me, but the genus of arachnid. It would be unlikely that a cave-dwelling spider would be venomous to any significant degree, but the possibility troubles me all the same. Day 35. Any known venom would have affected me by now, and so today is the first minor cause for celebration I have had since the incident. By lucky coincidence, this revelation also means I have discovered a virtually inexhaustible supply of nutrition. I intend to venture into the basement beneath this storeroom in the name of science to discover more about these creatures' natural habitat. For 4 days now, I have been surviving solely off the quite considerable sustenance provided by the spiders. For some time I was struggling to gather enough of the crunchy little morsels. However, a lady luck smiled on me once more when the batteries in my torch died, and I made a second life-saving finding. The creature's natural habitat is the dark. With my light not diminished, I only need to lie still for a few minutes, and I will have attracted enough of the beasts for a rather hearty meal. That doesn't seem like a good idea. But hey, if it's keeping yourself fed. So I suppose I can go through there if I time it? I'm not too sure. Sneak the bliss of the fish. I know, I've seen it happen. So, keep out. I assume. Hey, here's the ladder. Anything else over here? Well, can't pass. No, nothing else. Oh boy. Junky frictional physics, please. Please. Not junky, janky. I see, it's weight-based. It's not like in Amnesia. I mean, fair. This isn't Amnesia, I know that. There, I have a stair. What's this? Okay, it is timed. Day 71. Okay, first of all, I need to take a sip of water because I have been talking a lot, surprisingly. My earlier assumptions of the benign nature of my cellmates may have been made in error. After careful autopsy, I am concerned that there may be a small volume of natural chemicals stored in the stomach which, if ingested regularly over time, may become psychotropic or even lethal. My only real chance is to break out of here and raid any snatches of supplies I can find. However, the evidence against such a move is unsurmountable. 1. I have no source of light. 2. I swore to myself I wouldn't leave until I heard human voices outside. 3. The spiders are so tasty. Day 100. From the marks I have been making in the walls, and my scribbled diary entries, which in the dark may amount to an illegible scrawl, today is the 100th day of my new life. Over the past month, my edible friends have become more and more aggressive, and have swelled up in number and size. Whether or not this is a result of my plundering their ecosystem, I am unsure. However, at this rate of growth, they will soon be too large to crawl through the gaps in the walls. For all I know, I could only be seeing the tip of the iceberg. If all fails, and I am never recovered, I hope at least that my study of, and indeed involvement with, these fascinating creatures will one day be regarded as an important point in natural history. The greatest names in modern science got there more through fluke than talent. It appears that this rule has extended itself to my discovery of this delicious new species. I only pray that the second rule deems my breakthrough too insignificant, for all great discoveries tend to consume their inventor. Here you are, buddy. If it weren't for the size of the pieces, I would say it looks like eggshells. Alright. Finally, dismiss me all that's left the basement storage. That log looks rather worse from where. Don't tell me I have to go back to hit this. Actually, hammer. I keep forgetting. Hammers are a thing. There we go. These chests must be quite common. Anything in here? Oh. I just realized that I've been crouching this whole time. What is that? Fluid lighter gas. Anything else around here? Hospital gray. I only came here for fluid lighter gas. Oh. This turns off the steam. I hear fireworks outside. Oh no. Well, someone's having a field day outside. Yep. I think someone's been dragged through here. I've never seen so much... I've seen this much blood before. It's my best chance to get someone else. Who else is down here? Alright. Cut off a tongue. Alright, there's some things for me to check here. Still not too comfortable with how heavy. Yeah, the spiders are growing in size. Spiders are growing in size. He's happy about that. An old key. Looks like to be in one piece. This must be the key to the other section. Day 200. It's been some time since I recorded any findings in relation to the spiders with whom I have shared my existence for the past 8 months, partially due to my reinforced retreat from their basement territory. Not too long ago, their behavior became overly aggressive, and so I've attempted to barricade the main entrance to their lair and secure myself in one of the smaller rooms above it, the only one with an operational door lock. The only reason is that I have been recovering from a minor operation, which I was forced to conduct myself without the aid of an anesthetic. Even if I did have any anesthetic or surgical tools, I couldn't afford to be less than diligent with my work, so anesthetic was out. Surgical tools are all well and good, but although it may may be becoming old and rusty, I still trust my penknife to do the job just as well. The procedure itself was elementary enough, a simple amputation of a non-vital organ. I began to notice a thick glue-like substance forming around my tongue, and was forced to accept that I had become infected through constant toxin ingestion. Another century of days comes and goes. It seems like so long since I escaped here. At some stage since my last entry, I attempted to return from whence I came. That from which I originally was fleeing seems a fate far worse than the one I now face. However, in the time since I arrived from the larger marine system, a cave-in has occurred, blocking any further progress. I was forced to return and accept whatever end life has in store for me. I still hear my aggressive little friend scratching on the door to my cell. Oh boy, you met quite a terrible fate. Years and years of logs, reports, files just left there to gather dust. It's probably a century in life and death right at my feet. That's a lot of bottles. That's the tongue. Ew. And that's the spider. The largest spider I've ever seen. With its gut carved open. Nothing in the chest. Oh. Beef jerky. The hole isn't large enough for man. Not that I'd go anywhere near it. It was borrowed out of this tunnel, so I can go in there. Regardless, I have a key, so now I can progress to the other door that was locked. That was locked. Doggy. That should hold it off. Or probably not. Yeah, I blocked the door. Okay. Explosives are over there. The workshop is over there. Where do I want to go first? Explosives first, maybe. Mouse controls are still annoying me a bit. Ultimate mixer's seen better days. Here's the explosives. Don't see a fuse. This must be the only exit that's caved in. I love my workshop. It is too great a hunting ground to let the others gorge their faces. One cannot help but feel for those without such delicate, mousy morsels, which ate harvestly on their flesh and shall continue to do so as possible, thanks only to the button that I saw on the door, and yet its mind only works somehow backwards. So, 8412. Is that what the code is? 8412. Anything back here? Nope. Hidey holes. These are all hidey holes. 8412. That's simple enough. Okay. I'm looking for a fuse, I think. What is this? Save point. Oh no. I have a bad feeling about this. These look like they have seen some use in their time. Can't have been much fun working down here. In fact, they must have been pretty god-awful. Hello. Something under these rocks. Yep, there it is. I see it. Gimme a pickaxe. Those sanctions, I don't even know what it would have been used for. Some kind of mill, maybe? I don't know. I'm talking out of my arse here. Another one of these. These must be tied to what's going on in here. If I keep experimenting, I may discover something useful or have a heart attack. Don't have a heart attack. Warning torch. Sometimes I feel as though I don't know how to read. Action fence has been put up recently. It's better to find a way to get over. This is not gonna go well, is it? I mean, there's probably gonna be a way to get over. Say, barrels, maybe. So, only one plaque. Unless there's more plaques around here that I can use. Doesn't seem like there is. Let me look over here. Alright, batteries. Where are the batteries? I guess not. I'll use the glow stick then. Alright, let's give this a shot. Come on, cooperate with me. I just know this is not gonna go well. Yep. guess I can... Oh, there it is. If I use 2 of these, surely I'll be able to get through, right? Let's move this. For all I know, I could be completely overcomplicating everything. I remind you, I have never played Penumbra. I mean, technically I have played once on stream, but I'm treating as if I had never played because I simply don't remember anything from back then. There we go. Now I just need to do that with, what, maybe 1 more barrel? The physics are definitely much more annoying to deal with than they are in Amnesia. Quite a few things are becoming pet peeves. Can I destroy this? If I use, say, the big X. No. No. I guess not. Okay, now comes the difficult part. I need to get over this, somehow. I think I somewhat remember this. Somewhat remembering the struggle. Because of the wonky physics. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay. The question is, will this work? There is no checkpoint. Well, I made it through. Nearly killed myself in the process, but made it through. Perhaps I wasn't supposed to go through like that. Perhaps I was supposed to place the wooden board. There. Jammed. Very old and weak door. There we go. When in doubt, pickaxe. Stick of dynamite. Cherry bombs soaked. So, do I have everything? That is the question. I have a few. I did not pick up any string though, right? I remember that the note said that I need string, but I don't remember seeing any string anywhere. Let's go back. Let's go this way. Where is the string? Ah, cotton string. Now I have everything that I need. Time to kaboom a tunnel. Where's the puppy? It's only cotton string, it won't work as a fuse. Wait. What am I supposed to do? Let me hide here. Coat it with a thin layer of backstring. I need to go look for the backstrand then. Do I not have any more batteries? Painkillers, beef jerky, lighter, empty lighter. Okay, I need to go look. I need to go look for a few things. There's the dog. I think I need to go back into the office. That's it, puppy. Good doggy. Don't come this way, doggy. That way. Yeah, that way. Go that way. Where are you? There you are. Yeah? You're going in that direction. That's not good. That's where I want to go. Are you coming back? Yeah, you are. Go on. Wait, was this not the... Is the office outside? Do I need to go outside again? Office. I'm going to look in the office again. Ah, there it is. I completely missed that. Shit. That's it. Do not come this way. I got it now. Use this. Can't ignite. What am I missing? Notes, explosives. Rolled in the gunpowder. Rolled in the gunpowder. So I'm guessing I need to head back into the explosives room. Workshop. Took me a while. This game is not particularly intuitive. But then again, I'm used to Amnesia. Amnesia is much easier. Okay, now I can use the fuse. The problem is, the lighter is empty. Yup, the lighter is empty. So what do I need? I am a moron. Alright. Now, I should be able to do everything. I'm a bit of a moron, really. I don't know if you could tell. This should finally do it. There you go. When I look back, I can't think what spurred me to go deeper into the mine. Perhaps it was the arrogance at still being alive, or something as ridiculous as facing adversity and coming out on top. Now I know I would have been better off starving, or being mauled to death, than kickstarting the chain of events that led me to end up here, writing to you. I just hope once you understand my story, you will have what's necessary to put an end to this tale. I certainly didn't. Wait a minute, I saw that. Maybe I didn't see that. Nothing in here, nothing in here. Nothing back here. All seems fine and dandy. Nothing in here. Power room. Noises down here are so really compared to some of the troubles on the surface. Man. Well, that's a nope. Excuse me. That's a big hole. Oh. More batteries. And Steelbird Generator Type 7G. Congratulations on your purchase from the Type 7 product line. We are certain that you will be pleased with the new petrol-driven electrical backup system. Below are highlighted just a few of the added and improved features of the 7G model. Avoid personal wear and tear. The wind-up startup motor has been replaced with a battery-driven unit. Grease in the industrial workplace can be an accident-inducing insurance nightmare, so enjoy the new increased grease control system. Electrical installation can be expensive to install and maintain, so the economical 7G basic model arrives without, and much, much more. Quick start. Ensure the area surrounding the 7G is clear of equipment and personnel in case of overheating. Connect and confirm secondary flow by turning appropriate valve. Turn on cooling system to avoid overheating. Release excess steam until pressure is within safe limits. Begin grease flow, ensuring leakage is minimal. Turn main valve and confirm primary flow. Pull main operation lever. Check energy output. Your unit should now be fully functional. It feels as if I'm leaving my body for just a moment, but not just hovering around. It's like I could go someplace. What are these things? From the look of the thing, I guess the control panel is for the generator. Lots of things to take into consideration. Let's see, what was the note again? Ensure the area is clear. Secondary flow by turning appropriate valve. Cooling system to avoid overheating. Release excess steam. Begin grease flow. Main valve. So main valve is the last one. This valve is the first one. I guess I can't do anything yet until I power something or something? I don't know. Ah, it needs a battery. Yes, it needs a battery. 3.5 megawatts, it's pretty old. Could light up a few bulbs. Blind experimentation achieves nothing, of course. I am, of course, going to pull the lever. The main generator won't run without its starter motor being powered, meaning I'm going to need a battery. Is that all I came here down? Oh, is that all I came down here for? Just to hear some speech. Some muffled speech. Alright. Need to find the battery. Let me guess. It's out there with the puppy. Here, puppy. Emergency Procedures Pamphlet. In the event of an emergency, all mine workers are asked to follow the standard emergency procedure detailed in the leaflet provided. Rescue services will already be on their way, and so under no circumstances should employees attempt to aid colleagues themselves or contact the emergency services. This code sheet is provided for use in the extremely unlikely event that you are trapped in the mine with no way in which to signal or otherwise contact emergency crews. In this scenario, you should ensure the stability of surrounding environment by gently tapping and feeling the rock. Once you feel certain that there is no risk of rock slide, check to see if you have any form of communication device at hand and attempt to send a distress signal using this code sheet. Should such a device be unavailable or damaged, begin firmly tapping on a message on the wall of the cave. Rescue crews will hear you and arrive promptly to dig you out. Morse code reference. Oh boy. Literally the only Morse code that I know is SOS. Which I guess is the only one that you need. ... .. That's SOS. Literally the only Morse code that I'm aware of. I never learned proper Morse code. Hello. Spare radio parts. Really don't like it. Turn it off. Get a comm radio. Yep, that's SOS. 12th of January 1972. Boys, I come have a word with you myself, but I've got more things to do than piss about making sure you're all doing your jobs properly. Now I know there's a certain amount of camaraderie between you lot, playing pranks and jokes on each other. It comes with the territory, and that's fine, so as long as you don't add me to your list. God knows you need something to keep you entertained down here. However, you all know full well that Penrose has some very deep-seated issues with his height, so anyone who thought it would be a good idea to sabotage this generator and hide all of the spare fuses on the top shelf of the storeroom would quite clearly need his head examined. You get me? In other news, Jones, I want that inventory done yesterday. And the rest of you, it's not all fun and games, you hear? On a serious note, another radio's gone missing. And you'd better hope to God that means one of you's lost it, because stealing ain't a pretty word in my book. It's the third one this month, which means the amnesty on coming clean is fast coming to a close. Then there will be repercussions. Got it? What's strange is, you're all supposed to be working in pairs, so nobody should be able to get their hands on a radio without the other spotting it. When I find out who's responsible, I'm going to find out how they got away with it for so long. Then I'm going to fling them out into the snow and leave them there. They'll just disappear into the night, just like all those radios. Harvard. Lead mine foreman. Alright. So, top shelf of the storeroom. Head to the storeroom, I guess? The puppy should be around here somewhere, right? I haven't seen the puppy in a while. That's the sound of the puppy. Where is it, though? Where's the puppy? The puppy can't actually get through here, though, right? Yeah, it can't. Puppy sign. Yeah, puppy. Hello. Storage room. They said storage. This is the power room. Excavation, auxiliary shaft storage. That's the power room. There is no storage here. So storage should be on the other side, right? Is this storage? I see that. Standard 5v5 fuse. Can't reach it. I got it. I'm starting to not feel as stupid. So, where am I supposed to use the fuse, though? Definitely not around here. Christ, what am I thinking? That's a good question. I don't actually know. I don't actually remember where I'm supposed to put the fuse. Very simple, it's while it's shut. wait. I understand now. I keep forgetting that's a thing. And I'll just drop that in there, right? Pick up the battery. And now, activate the generator. Generator. First, place the battery here. Okay. So, second lever. Right. Now, which one of these? Let me read the notes again. Generator manual. Okay. But what are each of these symbols? Symbol for water, hydraulics, fluid control, and now the last is this one. So that one is, come on, read again. Water, hydraulic fluid. Okay, so this one, this one, this one, this one, and finally the lever. Now I should check the fuse box. Blown fuse. Provide the fuse holds. Pretty big fuse. Broken. Okay, so what I need to do now is open that and immediately old and decaying and not working. Okay, so what am I missing? To-do list. Didn't I just... Oh, right. I put the fuse, but I didn't actually turn on the machine again. Right. Yeah, I need to pay attention to these things. I am not a particularly intelligent person. Right. So now I have to do all of this again. And now it should work, right? There we go. Now there's actual power. Save point. Need to be careful.
Good day. Good day, can you hear me? Well, I hope that your ears are working better than your tongue, so that you might use them to listen to my words. You have turned on the light at the end, beginning and middle of the tunnel, but some things remain shrouded in darkness. My emergency message I hope has helped, but what you need now is to the wall hole to the right of the fence. Oh, go now, there is no time to explain. Well, in fact, time is one of the few things we have in abundance down here. What surprises are spoiled by such catty curiosity.
Okay. Beyond the fence to the right, there should be a hole. There's a code. I don't remember seeing a code. Oh, he is making the code. Horse. Dot. 5 dots, 2 dashes. Oh man. Oh man, it's gonna be hard to keep track of this. Three, 8. 3 and 8. Five, 7, 3, 8. I hope it is. I really, really hope it is. 5, 7, 3, 8. Away. Shit. Well. Five, 7, 3, 8. Is this the only movement it's going to do? Because if it is, I'm not going to be able to move as easily. The 100 minutes have officially passed, but I'm going to record just a bit more, just to see if I can get past this part. They say that the dog does not move much, which is a shame. Okay.
My memory is like something with a great many small holes. We shall be needing to perform some minor demolition work so that we might one day meet again. For this task, we shall require the use of a large, earth-eating metal monster, and that monster is thirsty for juice from the place where things are kept. By the way, you can call me Red. It's not my name, you understand, but I am sure you will agree it is a name rather similar to a cardigan. Fetching when worn correctly.
Now that I've triggered the dog, I don't think I'm going to be able to get rid of it, so I think I'm just going to end it here by letting the dog eat me, because I absolutely suck at hitting it with a pickaxe. Is there a way to hit the dog? Oh. So does that mean I can kill it? Or not? Oh, there's two of them now. That's great. Come on. Are you coming to me or not? It doesn't actually die, it just runs away for a bit. I think it's actually dead now. Okay, so it requires a number of hits to kill them. Understood, understood. Come here, buddy. I got this. Was it the last one? Nope. Come on. Yeah, come over. I can get this done. I did it. Tool shed. This is quite the labyrinth, isn't it? Xeno Report 66B, Phase 9, Anno 9002, Anno Domini 1992. Filed by Chief Attending Xeno Officer, for the eyes of the leading installation officer only. Later, unlike the other findings, 66B appears to be of manufactured rather than natural origin, and so warrants additional interest. And, need I say, security. The bulk of Substance 63 was discovered only 6 yards from where Artifact 66B was buried, and appears at least in part to consist of a solidified form of 63 with a number of operable appendages. The artifact emits a low level of light from a seemingly inexhaustible energy supply, suggesting its origin is indeed as a war as was suspected. Of course, the ramifications of this fact are clear, and appropriate measures are already being taken. Progress in becoming enlightened as to the purpose of the device is, if indeed it served a purpose in the traditional sense at all, has been slow. Following protocol to the letter, I assigned my secondary officer to the artifact of Phase 7, only for him to go missing the following day. He eventually returned to the site from a previous uncharted area of the mines, presumably having discovered a new route avoiding the cave-ins. At this stage, we can only assume that what transpired, since he remains in a state of disorientation. Far be it from me to question the decisions of the elevated caste, but I am struggling to understand the necessity of conducting standard scientific testing in this case. I, of course, have full faith in the abilities of the research team put together and sent here by my immediate superior. I simply wonder whether their time might be better employed on the main site. Nevertheless, it is comforting to know that the actions of every member of the organization are carefully choreographed and controlled by those far outranking myself, both in stature and wisdom, and with this in mind, I feel fully justified in filing an official request for further manpower. We have already lost a number of workers to unforeseen events, largely while engaging in the studies mentioned earlier, and further investigation of the area calls for volunteers to carry out tasks altogether too hazardous in nature to risk the well-being of more elevated organization members. In particular, the tunnel system above the secondary site requires immediate cartography. I see that. Dynamite. I'm guessing that the saw is used to saw off the barricade. And if I get more puppies to deal with, I now know how to deal with them. Really? And I kill this. Fine. I'll go the other way around then. Apparently they revive after a while. In that case, I'm better off just killing them. Ah, it was a separate path. Understood. Alright. I think this is a good place to call it off. I think this serves as a good place to call it off. If you're still here, thank you kindly for staying as long as you did. Do let me know what you think of this format. This is highly experimental. This type of video intends to be just me going through my Steam backlog and playing each game for approximately 100 minutes and then editing minimally, just minimal editings, and then uploading it. If you are satisfied, or if you want to see if you're satisfied with this content, great. If you're not, well, I'll have to maybe scrap this idea. Who knows? Do let me know in the comments. With nothing else to add, thank you kindly for staying as long as you did, and I hope you have a wonderful, fantastic new day. Because this video is going to be uploaded within the first week of January, or at least I hope it will, I hope you all have a wonderful new year. Here's to a wonderful start to the year of 2026. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care, and good night.